guys, Will here. I was heading back to the airport to land last night and thinking about how much I've enjoyed flying out of my local airfield. Then I thought that, hey, there might be some paranauts out there that either think mixing general aviation and paramotoring isn't a good idea, or, I don't know, just might be afraid to fly out of an uncontrolled field.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
But I found it to be enjoyable, so I thought I'd put together a quick video on how I got started flying out of the airport and share with you some of the tools I've used to make my life a little bit easier when doing it. So with that, let's roll. Well, the first thing I had to do was ask permission. So I loaded up my gear and drove to the airport. I walked in, introduced myself to the airport manager and said, hey, have you by chance ever heard of a paramotor? And to my surprise, he said, oh yeah, there's a guy who flies out of here all the time. And I'm thinking like, oh, cool. This airport is close to my home. It's well maintained. It's out in the country. And it's got a great mix of different activities on the field. It's got a flight school and a skydiving operation and even helicopters. Okay, so after I got permission, and while I was there, I asked the manager if there was any special requests or things he'd like to see us do while flying out of there. And he said, man, if you're going to operate out of the airport here, I really want to see you using a radio. No problem, I'm thinking, because I don't know why anyone would want to operate around an airport without one. And the nice thing is, if you're operating an aircraft, you don't have to have a license to use an airband radio because you're licensed by rule. So that's cool. Then the last thing I had to do was to choose a field to launch from. And what I was looking for was a flat, level field that ran parallel to the runway and would be on the same side that I was departing to. In other words, if I was departing to the west, I'd want that field to be on the west side of the runway. That way, I don't even have to cross the runway to get to where I'm going. Okay, enough of that boring stuff. Let me just show you. Okay, we made it to the airport, and the plan today is to launch and stay in the traffic pattern and shoot a couple of low approaches. They've just mowed my field, so I'm stoked about that. So I'm gonna walk the field again, just double check it for hazards, kite the wing, and then head on up. Man, it is really, really hot. Good, you know, no. 1 second, no. Line. Okay, so that checked out. Nothing's changed. The grass is freshly mown, and I've walked this field several times, but it's just double checking. So next I'm going to reevaluate the winds.
Weather, wind 240 at 4, visibility 1.
Triangle North traffic, paramotor departing parallel to runway 23 in the grass, west side, remaining in the pattern, Triangle North. Okay, so that went without a hitch. So I'm going to parallel the runway here, stay clear of it just in case there's traffic behind me. Alright. So now I'm going to make my first 45-degree turn, and I'm going to calm my crosswind. Triangle North traffic, paramotor turning right crosswind, runway 23, Triangle North. So there's my 45-degree turn. I have to crab a lot in order to maintain a rectangular pattern. So this turn is really 90 degrees if you look at my ground track. So there's no need for another 45-degree turn here. Plus it gives me a chance to scope out right downwind to make sure nobody's entering it. Alright, that's high enough. I'm going to turn my downwind and make my call. Triangle North traffic, paramotor turning right downwind, runway 23, Triangle North. The same thing, I'd keep a rectangular pattern. I don't want the wind dictating where I go here because I don't want to be drifted closer to oncoming traffic. And really, my goal, and I'm just speaking for myself, man, this is not what you should do. This is just what I do. But my goal is to be where people expect to see me. Okay, checking base.
Triangle North traffic, paramotor turning right base, runway 23, low approach only, Triangle North.
I'm gonna have to really crab into the wind here. I mean, when I come in to the airport, I do a normal approach, and rarely do I do pattern work. I just thought maybe it'd be easier to explain things. Okay, so we're just gonna do a low approach, and I'm gonna stay on the west side of the field, which is this side. Triangle North traffic, paramotor final, runway 23, low approach only, remaining on the west side of the field and remaining in the pattern, Triangle North. That was a mouthful. Checking out the flag, it's showing right down the runway. Hey, that's one thing that, you know, windsock is for airplanes or helicopters or whatever, but an airport windsock sure is not good enough for a paramotor. I mean, you need something like toilet paper or something, you know? It takes a lot of force to move that windsock right there. Ground speed is 13. It's about a 2 on the what the f*** meter. Triangle North traffic, paramotor turning right crosswind, runway 23, Triangle North. Triangle North traffic, paramotor turning right downwind, runway 23, Triangle North. So I do a normal pattern when possible, but more times than not, the wind is not as calm as it is now. So what I usually do is a modified base to final. And by that I mean, once I'm abeam the numbers, that's when I turn base. So that way when I turn upwind, I'm sure I'm gonna make the field. If I extended my downwind, then turned base, I'd lost my engine. Once I turned upwind, if you had any kind of wind whatsoever, that could affect my ability to get back to the field. So what I'm going to do here is line up runway 23, and then I'll break it off and land to the right of the runway in the grass. Got about 10 minutes left, but I'm going to go ahead and put her down. Triangle North traffic, paramotor turning right base, runway 23, Triangle North. Triangle North traffic, paramotor, short final, runway 23, Triangle North. Let's see if we can bring the pappies in. Those two white lights on the left side of the runway. If it's all white, runway's out of sight. If it's all red, you're dead. So red over white is just right. Pretty sure I'll make the runway now. Yeah, Triangle North traffic, paramotor over runway will be sidestepping to the west side of the runway, landing in the grass, Triangle North. Alright, so we're going to sidestep. I tell you, landing at this time of the day, if you're not used to it, really messes with your perspective. That was a really good flight. Triangle North traffic, paramotor, clear the runway, Triangle North. Well, that's it, guys. That's what I do when I fly out of my local airfield. I don't normally do as much pattern work as I did today, but I thought I would hang around, kind of make it easier to show you what I do. But hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and I've enjoyed doing it. And until next time, ciao.